Hi, my name is Anna Wenger. I'm the host of Mission Unstoppable, which airs every Saturday on CBS. And this is Science and Stuff, a show about science and stuff. We love Mission Unstoppable so much that we decided to bring you even more science. And I have two guests from last weekend's episode of Mission Unstoppable. I've got the Mars Rover driver, Vandi Verma. She's going to talk to us about the brand new Mars Rover, which is on its way to Mars right now. And I've got music producer Ashley Levy, who is awesome. And she worked on another one of my favorite shows, RuPaul's Drag Race. So I'm super excited to ask her about Trixie Mattel. But first off, Vandi Verma, space roboticist. Where is she? There she is. Hey, Vandi, how's it going?
Hi, good.
Good. I'm so excited. I can see you. I can hear you. Everything's working. I'm so glad you're here. You know, you were actually the very first person that we filmed with for Mission Unstoppable. And you were then in our pilot episode of Mission Unstoppable. And here you are, our first guest on Science and Stuff. So thank you so much for joining us. You're working on a new Mars rover right now. Oh, no, it's on its way to Mars right now.
That's right. So we launched Perseverance over the summer, and she is on her way. And we fondly call her Percy, and she's on
Oh,
her way to
cute.
Mars, and we'll be landing February 18th of next year. So we're really excited about that. And actually, Perseverance is carrying a Mars helicopter. It'll be the
What?
first ever helicopter on Mars. So we're really excited about that as well.
You're kidding. I did not know this. How big is this helicopter?
It's really tiny and it's lightweight, but it's
Uh,
Perseverance itself is really large. It's carried under the belly of the rover, and will it's solar powered, and we'll deploy it very soon after we land. And you'll be able to see images from the helicopter as well as the rover.
Dude, that is so cool. I'm so excited about this. And we just pulled up a picture of Perseverance right here. When our social media producer, Elena, first saw this picture, she said, "That's sick." And I was just wondering if you had ever heard anybody call the Mars rover Perseverance sick yet. Oh my God.
Not quite that, but there's always a first time.
It's a huge compliment. It's a huge compliment. And so, is that the helicopter that's down there that we see in front of the rover?
So in the front, what you see, that little panel there, that's actually the hazard cameras. Those are cameras that we use for
Cool.
navigation on the mast. We also
Uh-huh.
have now cameras that can look further out, but we have cameras low below. So it's not shown in this particular picture,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it'll be part of once we launched. It is part of the rover. You'll see it in other pictures.
That's awesome. So when we visited you at NASA and you showed us how to drive the Mars rover, at that point we were talking about Maggie, which is the nickname for Mars rover Curiosity, right?
So Maggie is so when we send rovers to Mars, we
Mm-hmm.
want to build a full-scale Earth copy so that we can do tests and drive around on Earth to experiment with things, especially because we're going into places we've never seen before. And if we encounter a situation that's like totally new, we might experiment with it in the Mars yard that we have at NASA JPL. And so Maggie is the Earth copy of the Curiosity rover.
That's right. That's right. I got confused because we were calling Perseverance Percy. But yes. So, what would you now? Sorry, quick question about Curiosity. Is Curiosity still up on Mars? Is it still doing its work? What's happening with Curiosity?
Yeah, Curiosity is very much on Mars and exploring away. In fact, we've been drilling even more drill sites, and she's continuing to climb up Mount Sharp. And as we climb up the mountain, we are discovering different layers, and that's been very exciting. So yeah, she's driving even as we go.
And how long do you expect Curiosity to stay on Mars doing its work? How long do you expect it to continue to run, so to speak?
So those of us who work with these rovers now sort of don't bet against the rovers. So as you know,
Right.
Spirit and Opportunities, which were the Mars exploration rovers, they were supposed to last 90 days. And then 14 years later, they were still driving around. So,
That's so
the
cool.
rover is well past, Curiosity is well past her mission life already,
Mm, mm,
but she's doing incredible science. And
mm.
so who knows? It could be a long while yet.
That's awesome. That is so cool. And what would you say the main differences are between Curiosity, which is the rover that's on Mars right now, which you also drove, and Perseverance, which is on its way to Mars now?
Yeah, so so one of the big differences, we have is that we're actually collecting cores with Perseverance.
Okay.
So we drill samples, we carry to laboratory, and we'd analyze them on Mars with Curiosity. Here, we're going to bring back to Earth for the first time samples that we collected on Mars through a separate mission. So Perseverance will collect them, and then a subsequent mission will go and get those samples back. So that's exciting. We also have at every level incredible new things that we learn as we've been on Mars, and we build into the new rovers. We are driving so much faster. We have a whole suite of new instruments. We're actually going to experiment with generating oxygen. We've got a microphone for the first time, so you'll be able to hear sounds. And so there's a lot of different things and we'll be able to, we've got a robotic arm. In fact, we have two arms on this rover, the arm that we deploy with the instruments and do science, but we also have a sample caching arm. So there's a lot of new capability, and that's always really exciting because every time you have a new rover, there's more you can do and more science you can do, and things that weren't possible are possible, such as, for example, collecting a core and, encasing it so that we can bring it back to Earth.
That's crazy. Now, so we have not brought any samples back from Mars yet.
So the only things we've had from Mars are things like maybe meteorites and stuff that we think might have other origins, but we have
Wow.
never brought anything back from Mars
Whoa, that is
ourselves.
so cool. So now you're going to send another robot up to Mars to get the samples from Perseverance once Perseverance cores them for us.
So, right. And so that'll be the first time, we'll actually have to launch from Mars to come back to Earth. And that'll be the
That's so
first time we've
crazy.
done that. Right. So it's really exciting because this is a mission which has, a really long horizons. You're building something, and there's a long sort of amount of story to it and work that goes in order to come back to study these samples.
Yeah.
All the laboratories in various different parts of the world are going to be able to study these samples we brought from Mars, which is really exciting as well.
That's good. I like it when the world all works together to learn things. I think that's so cool. And now you're primarily looking, I remember when we were talking about Curiosity, you were going to go to spots where you had believed water to be located on Mars and do some sampling in those areas. Is that the same plan with Perseverance?
With Perseverance, we have a site. We're going to Jezero Crater, and it's really exciting. It's like a delta, and we at this phase, while the rover is on its way, we explore paths of how we may drive, where we may go, and how we would find our way through the area, because there are no roads. Everything's open where you want to
Right.
go. So that's part of the exciting
Yeah.
discoveries we can make.
Yeah. So, okay, so you're heading toward a spot that you believe to have been a delta at some point, which means just like water, right? Tons of water, right?
Yeah, at some point, yes.
At
In
some
fact,
point.
we now, from our previous rovers, know that at some point before, Mars did have abundant water. In fact, we believe that it could have had conditions to support life, and so it's part of why we're going there to understand.
Yes.
Could there have been life, and if there was, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Because scientists believe at one point Mars was a lot like Earth,
Mm-hmm.
but today it's not,
Yeah.
and we'd like to know sort of the story of Mars.
Do you have any idea if at some point the climate of Mars was like Earth? Do you have any idea how long ago that was?
Oh, it was millions
Yeah.
of years ago,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, yeah, right. So it's not a recent history, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why we don't at this point believe that even if we did find life, it would be microbial
Right.
and very small. uh, life that found its way subsurface where the conditions are better, because Mars on the surface is a very harsh environment. And this is why we drill under the surface and we scoop under the soil, because that's where we believe that if there is life, it's in that form. It's sort of microbial life and not sort of, higher form of
Sure,
life
sure,
there.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so you think that there never was higher form of life on Mars? If there was life, it was this microbial life?
The scientists are always
Mm-hmm.
exploring and evaluating the hypothesis, but that is the hypothesis.
Right.
And, we go there in order to get more data to understand that better. So we have a whole science team, and many of them sort of explore those aspects. And roboticists like us, we come up with ways in which we can allow them to deploy more and more instruments and find exciting ways in which you can get to places that are hard to get to otherwise, and that you can study those
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah. How did you become the Mars rover driver? Or one of the many?
So yeah, so I think I was when Sojourner landed, which was like the first rover ever on Mars. I read about it and I was like, this is incredible that we can actually do this, that we could send a robot to Mars. And I went to graduate school to study robotics. And I was in graduate school when Spirit and Opportunity landed. And I loved robotics. It was a field where I felt that you could explore by programming a robot. You could explore the world, and I was really fascinated. And when the rovers landed, I never thought I'd get to drive them because they were meant to last 90 days. And so when I had the opportunity, I definitely decided I was going to. It was a combination of I had the background with robotics and I had done
Yeah.
a lot of work applying to NASA. And so it was a really good
Yeah.
fit.
Dude, that's awesome. And when did you start working with robots?
So I started working with robots in grad school.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's, I we had a competition to program robots to explore a maze, and different teams would compete, and whichever robot collected the maximum gold, which was these balloons, won. And it was so interesting. I'd spent all my spare time working on that project, and so I knew I was really hooked. And we ended up winning that competition, and it led me to a whole journey in robotics
That's so cool. And where did you go to grad school?
at Carnegie Mellon University.
And so
So I did
you got,
my
yeah,
PhD in robotics there.
you did your PhD in robotics, but your undergrad was in something else?
My undergrad was in electrical engineering.
Oh, wow. And then you got into robots. I think that's so funny. So when you were a kid, you weren't necessarily interested in robots. It's something that came later, once you were like into engineering.
It's interesting. Like at the time, I didn't know about robots, and
Right.
so I loved airplanes because that's what I knew about. But that's why I always tell kids that you should learn the fundamentals and apply them to what you have available to you. But you may not be able to imagine what's possible in the future, but you stay open to it because there's so many things that you might be able to do that you can't think of now.
Right, right, right. What things did you learn from curiosity that you changed on perseverance that makes it like easier? Like, is it easier to drive? I think you mentioned it might be faster.
Yeah. So, one of the things we had trouble with curiosity was the wheels. The wheels were getting holes in them, and we were having trouble driving into certain terrain. So we've
Right.
improved the wheels, and we've also added a second computer. We have a computer dedicated to processing images really fast so that we can drive further. And where the robot itself looks at the terrain, looks at it, figures out is it
Yeah.
challenging or not, and can continue driving. So we've made a lot of improvements like that.
Yes, it's so cool. I can't wait to see it. And so you said it's going to land on February 18th. And tell the people out there how long it takes the rover to get from the Earth to Mars.
So we launched on July 30th, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll be landing in February. And we typically launch the rovers at a time when the relative distance, so the trajectory that we travel from Earth to Mars is such that it's minimized. So the opportunity actually only comes every 2 years. So if you miss an opportunity to launch your rover in time, you have to wait 2 whole years to have an opportunity again.
It's like the worst.
So we're very excited.
Yeah. It's like the hardest
And so
dinner
especially
reservation
this
to
year,
make
right?
ever. Yeah. Go ahead.
And with everything going on this year, we were really excited that,
Yes, good
it's on
for
its way.
you for getting it out despite everything that's going on. That is fantastic. Well, I know how passionate everyone that you work with is about what you do, and it's just such a cool and exciting thing. And so once you got hooked on robots, that was it for you. Are you involved in the design of Perseverance at all?
Right. So there's different levels of different designs. So I'm not a hardware designer as much, but I'm definitely involved with designing the algorithms, like, the brains that drive the robot. And when we say drive, we use it sort of more generally. Rover drivers actually operate the robotic arm and,
Yeah.
perform sampling. So we do all of those things.
That's awesome. That is so cool. And I have just a couple of questions from members of our audience for you. At Anna Sunshine, Anna underscore Sunshine asks, what kind of metal is the rover made of?
So different parts of the rover are made of different alloys, but it's a really good question because we have, our wheels are not made out of rubber. They're made out of aluminum, but we also have different alloys that are used for the grousers, and so it's composites, a lot of it that the rover is made out of.
Bunch of different kinds of metals, but it has to be able to withstand great low temperatures and high temperatures, right? Because isn't like the temperature on the face of Mars very different from even what it is just a few feet above where the head of the rover would be, so to speak.
The temperature variation that we have between night and day is actually a lot. So that's definitely an important aspect, is just the thermal cycling that we get. And so we have mechanisms built in, loops that manage both the heat and the cooling. Most of the actuators we actually have to heat to use. And then we have to, that is more of a problem. Mars is actually a cold, more cold place. And so we have to manage that variability, that at night it's going to get really cold. And also things like expansion, the metal will expand and contract, and that impacts the positioning. In fact, when we positioned Curiosity on Jake Matievik, which was one of the first rocks, overnight we lost contact because of the contraction, and then it regained contact because it can have an impact on just the positioning of the rover's robotic arm, for example.
Right. Which I imagine is why you use the different metals, because you have to be able to withstand all these different types of heat and terrain and such. And I've got one more question from our audience. This is from @eBaquet. Would you yourself ever go into space?
It's such I think space exploration is just so amazing, and I love adventure. Yeah, if I had the opportunity, I'd totally go. I'd probably want to drive robots even when I was in space. So, maybe further out, but that would be fun.
Okay, so we need to make you a space station so that you can drive robots from the space station is what we got to do.
Now that would be pretty cool.
Nice. How deep will Percy dig for soil samples? And do we know how the depth correlates with how long ago? So like, does the depth, is it longer ago the further down you go, I guess is what the question is. And how deep will Percy dig? That's a great question, by the way. Whoever asked that question, great question.
Yeah, and one of the things is that, so it doesn't actually as much as dig as it's collecting cores. Now we do on Curiosity, for example, we go and collect 5 centimeter deep drill holes, and the deeper you go, there definitely is more preservation of uh, because there's of life or whatever you're going to find,
Right.
because it's less exposure to the surface layers. And so these when we collect these, we're going to that's why we sort of drill into the surface and we collect the samples and we bring them from that far down. Now Curiosity also has a scoop, which can collect sample but with the scoop we have shallower depths. The scoop goes a few centimeters, and that varies depending on how you position the scoop. But with the drill, we can go up to 5 centimeters with that.
That's with Curiosity, but the Perseverance coring, how deep does that go? Sorry, you may have already said.
Yeah, that goes about similar distances
Okay, cool.
with Perseverance as well, but it's going to collect the cores and bring it back.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. Okay, so let me ask you this. Just last question before we have to move on to our next guest, I think. But I just have a question, just personally. Like, what is your gut feeling? Do you think Perseverance is going to find evidence of microbial life on Mars?
I think that it'll be really, partly it's sort of like we have been following this chain of there was water on life. We found the habitability. And so it's definitely just a matter of time. And yeah, I do believe that, we have a really good chance of that.
Well, I am so excited, and I cannot wait to hear more about it. And I think in season 2, we're going to be able to stop by JPL and NASA and see Perseverance's doppelganger. Is there a name for that one yet? The one that's going to be
Optimism.
Optimism. There you go. Great. So, and does it have a nickname yet, Optimism?
I'm sure she will. So we just, got very recently, it's just actually been a few weeks. And so I'm sure she will.
That's great. I'm going to pitch you
And,
some
if
names.
people want to help provide
Yes,
names,
that's
we actually
exactly
have all
what I
of
was
our
gonna
rovers
say.
are named by students. And so,
Okay, great. Yeah,
that'll
we're
be
gonna
exciting.
pitch you some names. We'll get those to you right away. I'm sure you'll be dying to wait for those. But thank you so much for joining us, Vandi. We are all watching. We're so excited. Tell us the date again that Perseverance is going to land.
February 18th of 2021.
Great. We will all be watching. We are so excited. Thank you so much for all of the great research that you're doing and for joining us on the show. We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that. I cannot wait to go see more Mars rovers. All right, up next, we have Ashley Levy, who is a songwriter, music producer, and singer. She's written hundreds of songs, including multiple #1 hits on iTunes, and songs for RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, including the amazing Trixie Mattel. Ashley Levy, where are you? Are you somewhere? You're going to show up. There you are. Hi,
Hey.
how's it going? Thanks for
good.
joining us on our first show.
Oh, this is so much fun. Thank you for having me back.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And you were in our pilot episode too. This is so funny because I was just talking to Vandi, but it's just a coincidence that our pilot episode of the first season of Mission Unstoppable happened to run last Saturday. And I remember I came to your, I went to Vandi's too, but I came to your filming when we did the segment with you, and we were talking so much about how great it was that we got to do this show. We talked so much about all the technology that goes into composing and songwriting, which when you think about, oh, this person is a songwriter, it's not necessarily the first thing that comes to your mind is that this person uses technology all day long, every day, in order to make their music, essentially.
Right. And I hardly even think about it anymore, to be honest. It's just kind of like, I have to write a song. It's like innately I know what to do. I know what program to go to, all the steps.
Yeah.
But I'm not really thinking about it anymore. So
Yeah.
you guys help me think about it.
Realize that. No, I know, but you
and realize it.
Yeah, but you really are using the latest technologies, and knowing what the latest technology is and how everything works helps you do your art, essentially, which I think that a lot of times people don't realize that science, technology, engineering, and math is so intertwined with so many different careers. And did you ever think, like, when did you first want to be a composer or a songwriter?
I think it was the first time I started like memorizing jingles. I was like, that's so cool. Like, remember all those old like Mentos commercials and stuff like that? I was
totally.
like, I want to buy this product just because they have like an awesome song attached to it. Like it was just such a cool thing to me. And then I realized that was a career later on.
Yeah. Yeah. And did you play like an instrument when you were young or anything like that?
So I thought I was going to be a cartoonist for the longest time. And then I realized I only like drawing for fun. So then I picked up guitar and it was like crazy. Like I realized I had an awesome ear. I had great teachers that led me in the right direction of like realizing, oh, hey, she could actually do something substantial with this talent.
That's awesome. Where were those
guitar,
teachers?
really.
Oh, these are your guitar teachers.
Well, my guitar teacher, and then I had a jazz teacher in high school, Mr. Jones. He was so awesome. He taught me about like how music makes you feel on a very visceral level. So that always really stuck with me.
Oh, I love that. It's so nice to have great teachers. So important.
It's important. Really important.
Yeah. So when you first thought like, oh, I love these jingles and I love, songs and I want to write songs, did you ever think you would be using technology as much as you're using it in order to do that?
No.
Yeah.
No. But it was funny because I remember the first thing I got really like music equipment was like I saved up all my money and I got like one of the older Mac laptops. Right. And it came with GarageBand. And they still all come with GarageBand. It comes with a computer. And I just started like playing with loops that are in there. So loops are like pieces of melody or beat that you can just kind of like piece together and like do your own thing with it. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I'd put down a drum beat and then I would like play a guitar riff over it. And I'm like, wow, I'm writing a song. This is like easier than I thought. But the passage, the entry happened when I used the technology. Because I don't read music. I never learned how to read music. Wow. Math always scared me a little bit. Yeah, I like went to summer school for math. Like I did not identify as a math or technology person at all. But in order to do what you want to do with music and express yourself, you have to learn those things. So I did.
See, so in this way, your passion for music led you to learn the tools that you previously were like, I'm not that into this math thing, but I have to learn it in order to get to making music. And that's actually something that I've noticed a lot. I think one of the common assumptions that people make about people who work in science, technology, engineering, and math is that everything in that is easy for them. Like that it's so easy and they're geniuses and they can do it all and they don't have to try, and that's just a fallacy. I mean, that's just false, because so many people that I meet, like even Ellen Stofan, who ran NASA for a number of years, said that math wasn't her favorite subject and she got C's in math, but she muscled through because she was so passionate about space and space exploration.
Wow.
Yeah. And you would never think that. You would never think someone who was running NASA would say, like, I had a hard time in math. Like, that's just not right. And the lesson here is, and I'd say this for myself, that if you really want something, you can learn the hard parts and figure out how to get it done. I just love that. So what technology do you use on a daily basis in your job?
Every day I use a computer. I use a microphone. I use a mic preamp. I use some sort of interface to make sure that all the signals are going into the computer correctly. I use DAWs, which is like essentially like what your program is. I use two. I use Ableton and I use Pro Tools.
Yeah.
So and
just like so much.
Then there are all kinds of programs within.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Like tons of that, right? And
but it's second nature now.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Like, it so well, it's like not even a thing for you. Like, you don't even think about it. Do we have a clip of her from the show? Like her giant board that she sits at? Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that good hair
I love
too.
That was so fun. Oh, there's RuPaul. Oh yeah. This is from
there's my cat.
Your intro. I love your cat. But you've got that just such a cool setup. Like you just have this huge board that you work off of, which is so cool. That you know how to work it all, because it just looks so complicated. There we can see some of it there. But yeah, I really loved joining you that day and watching you kind of like do everything in live as it went. You know what? This is our first show. So see, not only were you in our pilot, but you're in our first Twitch show as well. And, thanks so much for that.
Oh yeah, of course.
What else I have for you? I have a couple of questions from people in the audience. Here's a great
the audience, huh?
The audience is writing in. Here's a super important one that somebody asked. Do we have who is this who asked this question? What's the name? Griffey D123 wants to know, where did you get your chair?
Oh man, I think it was from Overstock. My chair. I love this chair. I do. And the best part is that cats can't scratch it because it's microfiber, so it will never tear up.
I didn't know that something existed that cats can't scratch. Hold on, I need to write this down. This is
microfiber, baby.
Microfiber. See, you come on to talk about technology and music composing, and you'll learn that there's a fiber that cats can't. No cat scratch there. I'm just writing this down because I don't want to forget. And I've got another one. Oh, so for somebody, this is from @Meg Schultze. For someone who's going to write their first song, what type of program would you recommend for them? Or what type?
I would say starting GarageBand because it's so easy. It's so user-friendly. It's very clear like what you have to do. Once you start going into like the Logics and the Pro Tools, especially Pro Tools is a little intimidating looking. It took me like 3 years to open the program. I had it in a box for 3 years and I couldn't open it because it was like so scary to look at. But start with GarageBand. That's what I started on and it's worked out well. It
totally worked. And do you feel that kind of like leads you on to the next one, the bigger ones, the harder ones as you go?
Yes.
You're able to learn them more easily.
Yes, it's a good like building blocks. It's a good starter.
Did you and how did you get into this career? Like how did you turn your passion for music and composing into a career?
Well, I thought I was going to do music therapy, which is like really helping autistic children express themselves because that's my thing. Like I'm a songwriter, but I like telling other people's stories. I like helping people express themselves. I'm not like an artist per se.
Right.
I prefer to be in the background, but I'm very lucky. I had some wonderful mentors along the way. I highly suggest to anybody starting out, like seek out those mentors. I don't care if you have to DM them. I don't care if you have to like knock on door. I don't care. Like find somebody who can take you under their wing and you can trust, most importantly. Because that's how it happened for me. And you actually met him, Tomas Costanza. Was like, he's still my big brother in this industry,
Yeah. That's awesome. And when did you first, so like what was your first thing that you got paid for as a composer?
Oh my God, I don't remember.
You don't?
That's a crazy question. I mean, I remember the first thing I got paid because you have to do a lot of like kind of.
Dude, I know. Yeah.
There's a lot of dues to be paid in any creative field. So it's kind of like, whatever. Gratis a little bit in the beginning.
100%.
But I'll tell you the most jaw-dropping one when I was like, oh my God, I'm actually songwriting. I wrote PG-13 for Sharon Needles, who came off RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
So that was my first like jaw-dropping, like, oh, this is like, I'm working with people with like names. This is awesome. Like clearly I'm in the right direction here.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. When was that? That was what, 10 years ago or something like that?
10 years ago. Yeah. 10 years ago.
I mean, not that I have every season of RuPaul's Drag Race like memorized and everything exactly when it came out, but I do know that was season 4, which was 10 years ago. No, I know. I love it so much. And you've ended up working on a lot of those with a lot of the winners from the All-Stars from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Extremely blessed is beyond, like, I am such a fan of drag. I have been before RuPaul's Drag Race existed. Like my 18th birthday, I went to a drag club. Like I can't explain it. It's such a wonderful crowd, and like the gay community. I love everything about it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and the music that you put together is so fantastic. And now, is pop your forte? Ooh, I have so many questions. Is pop your forte? Do you, when you write rock music, are you using the same kind of technology? Let's start with those two.
Yes. So generally with pop music, what happens is one of my co-writers will write the track, and then I will write the top line that goes over it. So like the top line's the lyrics and melody.
Yes.
So in that way, I'm not plugging in my guitar or anything like that, but I still am using my technology to record the vocal ideas. Okay. For a rock song, it's more grassroots in that I'm kind of like maybe building the drum loop, or maybe I'm building the guitar sounds. Like it's a little more kind of like hands in the dirt, production wise. But in either cases, I'm using technology for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so sometimes with the rock, you may be you're recording. You would record. I don't know, and I'm just guessing right now. But
I don't know either. It's all
like it depends on how it goes. But you would record like a guitar live, But then you would kind of alter it in post, as they say. Something like that.
Sure. Yes. And that takes the longest. Like writing the song oftentimes takes like 5 minutes. It's like, okay, cool. Now I have to put this thing to paper or to MIDI or to some kind of audio print that is digital. So, that is definitely the long part, is dialing in the sounds for sure.
That's awesome. And I have one more question from at Joe_Asha67. I realize that I have no idea how to pronounce any of these things, like the names that I'm gonna have to ask people when they write in to like write their handles phonetically, because you really just
phonetically, yes,
could be anything. But at Joe_Asha67 says, who is your dream collaborator? Who would you love to work with? And honestly, if you could give me 5 of them.
5 of them? Oh my God.
Not too many.
Charlie Puth.
Yeah.
Charlie Puth is up there. He's wonderful. I follow his Instagram. If you don't and you're a songwriter, you should, because he just records himself waking up and like writing a song. Oh, I just came up with this morning, and it's like the coolest thing you've ever heard.
Really?
So yes. So Charlie Puth.
What does he play? I've only heard him, I've only listened to him. I haven't like seen him any video or anything like that.
Oh, wow. He plays, I didn't even know this until I followed him on Instagram, but he is an awesome piano player. Awesome.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. He's got changes. It's crazy. So Charlie Puth for sure. I mean, we all love Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish, she's so cool. I can't she's like the anime nerd I used to be in high school. So I think it's kind of like a little nostalgic thing for me.
Yes.
I mean, I'm really lucky in that I've worked with a lot of people I always wanted to. Like Trixie Mattel. You're a Trixie fan, right?
Totally.
You mentioned that earlier.
Trixie fan, yes. And so is another woman, woman 17, our teen STEM queen, Jackie Means, is obsessed with Trixie Mattel. And when I told her that you wrote songs for her, she was like, and just went on and on about it. But big fan. She's so
Oh my
great.
God. It was very hard for me to keep my cool when like writing for her, because she was a fan of my band, which was weird for me. So she was fangirling at me and I was fangirling at her. It was like really, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
But, it was like wild.
So excited to have Trixie Mattel fangirl over you.
That's some validation I never thought I would get.
Seriously.
It's amazing.
That's the moment when you're like, I made it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Seriously.
That's so cool.
Artist Day. Oh, Wolfpack. Oh man. If you're like a nerd when it comes to like sounds and getting sounds right, Wolfpack is so incredible. They're like a group of LA-based studio musicians that started a band, and it's like the coolest music you've ever heard.
Is it spelled Wolfpack but pronounced Wolfpack?
Wolfpack with a V. Vulfpeck.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, Wolfpack. Oh, and another one to look up. Oh, so my friend, who's wonderful, and she used to be on my list of people to work with, but then I worked with her, and we're just like really good friends now, is Jarena DeMarco. She's coming out with a song called Electrico that's out tomorrow, and it is just so awesome. The vibe is, oh man, I
feel like I have my finger
bands
on
for
the
days.
pulse of all of the great new things that are coming out.
Yes. Well, she was on my list, and now she's checked off the list, so I don't know who's going to replace her. I don't know if anybody can. But yeah, check that out tomorrow. Electrico. It's coming out. Oh, so cool.
Oh my gosh, we have more questions. We have Hells_Bells 2008. What is your
Hells
favorite?
Bells? Yes.
Is that a friend of yours? Or are we just talking AC/DC old school?
AC/DC.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I get it. Yeah, totally. Yeah. What is your favorite guitar brand?
Guitar brand? I mean, Fenders. I love Fenders. I love Fender basses. I love Fender guitars. Gibsons are great. I have a Les Paul that I've had since I'm 16, but I don't really use it that much anymore because that big chunky rock sound isn't really like popular right now.
Yeah.
It'll come back for sure, but Fenders tend to do the job for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what do you think of the band 100 Gex?
100. Why does that sound familiar to me? Hold on a second.
100 Gex? Look them up.
Hold on.
I'm sure you do.
Money Machine. Oh, yes. This is the new stuff. These are like the new anime nerds that are kind of like under the Billie Eilish school, but a little more hypey. It's fun. This is like, I would, if I were like in high school, this is what I would be listening to for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. What did you listen to in high school, if I might ask?
Oh, man. I was like, I was not an emo kid. I was not into sad music. That's like, and I grew up in Long Island where like the emo scene was huge. I was like a mall punk girl. So like Good Charlotte, All American Rejects, pop punk, earwormy. But I also was into like, Rancid and the Distillers and all that good stuff too.
I love it that you were super into that punk kind of rock thing back then, but then now you're just super into pop. You just love all different kinds of music, right?
And I mean, that's why I don't think I could ever be an artist, is because I would rather be in a different band every day than just do one thing. Right. Like that seems boring.
Right. You would want to do a bunch of different styles. I love it. So let me see. I know I have even more. What are you working on right now?
Oh, well, right now, actually, I'm working with Galantis and Jarena DeMarco, the one who's coming out with a song tomorrow. We are working on a song for Space Jam 2. Which
oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I know. So we'll see. I mean, we're pitching it. We'll see where it goes, but that's like currently kind of top of the list. I'm also working with RuPaul's Drag Race star, Ms. Cracker. She's turning out some holiday music, some Hanukkah music, actually, to be a little more specific.
That's awesome. When is
so
that
it's cool. I get to like, I don't know. Definitely before Hanukkah and the holidays and stuff.
Stocking stuffers. We got to have it. We got to have it in time for the holidays, Ashley. We got to have it.
I'll make sure. I'm on it.
We'll all look for that. Do you think of yourself, did you ever think you would be on a TV show about science, technology, engineering, and math as a songwriter?
I failed math. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I never in a million years. And it is just so wonderful. Like I was like making jokes to my boyfriend earlier. Like I'm following like a space Mars rover driver. Like,
yes. Well,
it's just so, it's awesome. I think it's wonderful that I'm in the STEM field and, can consider someone like that a peer of sorts. It's wonderful.
Yeah, no, you are. I mean, you're at the top of your game. She's at the top of her game. You're both working on, important stuff that's happening and on the latest technology. You're using the latest technology to do that. Do you keep up on technology? Like, do you know all about the newest stuff that's coming out as far as computers and programs are? Is that something you make sure that you're on top of?
It's something I make sure I'm in the know, but it's not something that I urgently need to like run and be like, oh, I need that new piece of gear right now. Like sometimes there are things called plugins that make sound like something else that I tend to like go a little crazy with those. Those could be impulse buys. But otherwise it's like what I have works. And then if I have a friend that has something that works better, I'll just get that thing.
That's awesome.
So because I work with very high caliber people, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. They know what's best. You're talking about it with them. You get all the great stuff that they have. Well, that is awesome. Mm-hmm. Did anybody see you on the show? Like, was there anybody who saw you on the show that was like, "Oh my gosh, I just saw you on TV. I had no idea you were going to be on TV." Has that happened to you yet? At all?
Not yet. I think my hair growing out has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But actually the day it aired, I flew to New York and me and all like the ladies in my family watched it and celebrated. We had like a little brunch. So that was really special. My grandma got to see me on the show, inspiring young women, something I've always wanted to do,
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was enough for me. I don't need to be recognized on the street. My grandma knows I'm doing something.
As long as my grandma sees it, I'm great. No, I mean,
I'm good.
Sometimes I happen to be in a little piece of, when I was show running a television show, I happened to be in another show that Lindsay Lohan was in. And a friend of mine said, or not a friend of mine, but just random people would text me and be like, were you just on the Lindsay Lohan show? Like, I was in the background because I was working on a different show at the time. But, they would say, were you just on that show? And I was like, are you watching that show on a daily basis? You know what I mean? I was like, it was surprising how many people, like, would just see you on TV and of your friends who you hadn't told, like, I'm going to be on TV. But then they just happen upon you. Well, that's great.
That's fun.
So now we have come, Ashley, to the game portion of our show, Science and Stuff. This would be considered the stuff part. Also known as my staff really rejoices in seeing me make a fool of myself. Spectacle. We'll call it a spectacle of myself. More of a spectacle. That's what we'll say it is. But essentially, we play a game with our scientists, technologists, engineering, and mathematicians that is called I Know Everything About. And for you, we have come up with I Know Everything About Pop Music. And what I'm going to do is I am going to hum 10 popular songs, and you are going to try and guess what those songs are from my hopefully discernible humming of them. And then for every one you get right, we'll keep track of that. Make sure we keep track of that, Lexi. Don't get so carried away in watching me hum that we forget to keep score. She's going to keep tally up there. Everyone's so excited about this. And I asked our producer, Elena, I was like, oh, can we get like a cool prize that's like a hat that says like Mission Unstoppable on it? And she was like, no, but we can get a leaderboard and then we can put their name at the top of the leaderboard. And that's super exciting as well. So I'm going to still work on the hat thing and to send you one for participating, but it's just going to take me a little bit to talk her out of it. So, okay, so here we go. Are we ready? Oh, this is the leaderboard, but let's just go back to there. Yeah, there we go. That's our highly designed leaderboard that we designed for this. So okay, are you ready? I'm really asking. I'm ready. And all of this stalling at the top here is just because I'm a little bit nervous to hum.
I've heard it all. Don't be nervous.
Yeah,
I've heard it all.
I've got the microphone. She's so nervous I'm not going to use this little teeny microphone.
Oh, that's
she's
cute.
Given me, which is just a prop, It doesn't even work.
It's a very cute microphone.
Ashley, I love you so much. You're my favorite. All right. Well, are you ready to go? Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for this? Here we go.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
I Know Everything About Pop Music with Ashley Levy. Here we go.
I'm nervous.
Let
it go?
Yeah!
All right!
Woo! I feel good about that.
You got some pipes.
Thank you.
You got some pipes, I know.
Thank you. I'm doing the best I can. Okay. This one, I have to remember how it goes. Okay, here we go.
Oh, duh, Billie Eilish.
Yes, Billie Eilish. Yes. I love this. Yes. This is like my worst nightmare. You weren't going to get them. I was just like, it was just going to remind me of choir in the 8th grade. Here we go again. Okay,
no.
I did the best I could. I had a lot of pizzazz, even if I couldn't sing the best. Okay, here we go.
You still got pizzazz, baby.
Oh,
let's hear the next one.
Okay, here we go.
I think I'm stumped here.
No? Call Me Maybe.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Bourbon.
Someday I'll be able to get hats for everybody. It's going to be great. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Okay, next one. This is really hard.
Oh, no.
I just want to sing the words, because it'll be so much easier for me to do. I'm skipping that one. Skipping it. It was Happy by Pharrell. I can barely even remember that song. It's so old. Because
it's so
I'm happy.
high.
And that's the only part I remember of it. Oh,
right.
That's all I remember. So sorry, that was my fault. Don't count that against Ashley.
No, that's a tough one.
Thank you.
To sing, it's a challenge.
Anyway, yeah, thank you. Okay, what about this one?
Are you Fergalicious right now?
Yes, absolutely. This is amazing. I'm not even.
It wasn't so much the melody.
Happy.
It was this. It was this thing.
Totally. Oh, and we got Call Me Maybe too. Okay, here we go. Imagine that, only not as flat.
Oh my God. I think I'm stumped again.
It's We Could Have Had It All. It's Adele. It's a Rolling in the Deep. I should have asked the audience. You almost guessed that.
I already used that. I already used Ask the Audience.
I was so flat. Somebody did get it though. That's good. Foxy Femmes got it. Oh my gosh.
Good ears out there, guys.
I mean,
good ears.
They're killing it. All of you guys, buy music programs. Start to write some stuff. Send it in.
Write some stuff.
Yes. I mean, if they can tell what I'm humming here, I feel like they've got a natural ability. Okay, what about this one?
I love it.
That's right. I Love It by Icona Pop.
That's a great song. I love that song.
Man, if you ever need to work out, I'm telling you, that's the one. Ooh,
totally.
It's great. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this one's hard too. Okay, 2 more. We've got 2 more. Anything? Stop me. Feel free.
Why do I hear?
She's like, I could watch the.
Wait, and it's like I have to go into my memory bank. Is it?
It's old. I know.
Hey, is it Gwen Stefani or No Doubt?
I'm trying for Chandelier by Sia. No, but that's a really good one. That would be a good one. Next time we do this, I'm gonna do it. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna do Gwen Stefani, but that is a good.
We get another time.
Another time.
Hey Baby's a good one. It was the verse melody. I was like, is that Hey Baby?
I was trying to do the like 1 2 3 1 2 3 part, but it's tough.
I got you. Did anybody at Twitch get that? Did we get any chandeliers?
Did anybody get chandeliers?
Wow.
Yes.
Good ears out there, man. That's awesome.
I love it, by the way, how I'm now holding this like it's a real mic. Like, did you notice how I was like, did anyone on Twitch get it? Like, I'm still talking into it as if it is a real microphone.
It makes me want to do that. Like, it makes me want to.
Can we get one of these for Ashley for playing this game? I think she needs one.
Oh, it's lovely.
So on all your Twitch meetings, you can just be like, "Hello, I'm signed in. It's me,
Hello,
Ashley Levy.
I'm a very serious songwriter."
Yes. Would you like to talk about the latest in technology? I was just featured in a STEM show. Okay, last one.
All right, let's get it.
It's so hard. I should have written the lyrics down. Now, in retrospect, if I had written the lyrics down, I could just read the lyric and like hummed around. But instead, I'm like searching for it. Okay.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Let's see.
It's in minor. Oh my God. It's at the tip of my tongue.
I started with like the middle of, I'm still talking to this. I started in like the middle of one of the verses and then I didn't get to the chorus till the very end.
Well, can you sing the chorus one more time?
Okay, here we go, yeah.
Taylor Swift. It's the Starbucks Lovers song. Got enough Starbucks Lovers.
Yeah, Starbucks Lovers. That's what everybody thought she said. That's right. Got a list of Starbucks Lovers.
The title isn't coming to my mind immediately right now, but I know the song.
Fair enough. Blank space. Fair enough.
Blank space, yes.
Blank space. Fair enough.
Starbucks Lovers.
Totally. I remember singing that when it came out too. I did it! That's the end of I Know Everything About, starring Ashley Levy and this mini microphone. Look at you, you're at the top of the Mission Unstoppable leaderboard.
Whoa.
Look at the technology that was used
in making
this design. It couldn't be better. You have bragging rights, at least until next week, when I play another game with our next guest from next week. But is there anything else you wanted to tell our audience before we sign off?
Just get into it. Start writing the music. Whatever you have, GarageBand, it's very, very easy. I don't care if you just have to like sing into your mic on your computer. Just get it started. It's very easy.
Yeah. Don't be scared.
And then it gets hard.
Yeah, but it's like the hardest thing is starting though, right? Like
yes,
the
that is
hardest thing
truly the hardest
starting.
thing.
Yes. And the first program you learn is going to be the hardest, and every single one after that is going to be easier. And even if you're doing something you're not good at, still keep trying, because you will get there, just like Ashley Levy.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
And especially though, if you are a singer, learn the technology. You have no excuse. If you're a great singer, you should still know the technology.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, there's no excuse.
That's great advice. Well, thank you so much, Ashley Levy. And thank you for joining us on Science and Stuff.
Thank you.
Pilot episode. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Perfect.
Right on.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Write us. Tell us what you think on all of our social media channels. You can follow us at CBS Unstoppable across all of the platforms. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you'd like to hear about on Science and Stuff. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. See you next time. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Wait, you don't follow CBS Unstoppable on YouTube? How will you know when new videos drop? You better go subscribe before you miss a crazy STEM moment, like me walking a shark or making a black hole in my backyard.